Actually, tonight I'm going to be speaking about dealing with feeling in recovery. And just to let you know who I am, my name's Ashley. I'm a therapist. I specialise in trauma and childhood. I'm also an addictions counsellor. I've studied addiction, I've overcame addiction, and I've had a lot of loved ones who struggled with addiction. So I've got a full 360 view of it. So tonight I'm talking about dealing with feeling, and the reason I want to speak about this is one of the things with addiction is it's often an escapism from whatever's going on underneath inside, and we don't deal with the things that are hurting us. We don't deal with our traumas, and we don't deal with feelings. And one of the things that happen for a lot of people, myself included, is when we get sober, we stop the addiction, all of a sudden we're left with just loads of feelings and it's really hard, or we're left with a void, and that's because we're not allowing ourselves to feel the feelings. The problem with not dealing with feeling is it's a little bit, hi, if everyone is joining, it's a little bit like, this was something that this great therapist called Gillian Fortune described it as. It's like having a huge beach ball that you're trying to push underwater and you're constantly pushing it down, and it just becomes exhausting. So you're just mentally and emotionally exhausted just by pushing these feelings down. So how do we start to deal with feeling? Because if we don't, then we're more likely to struggle with our recovery and sustaining it. So one thing we can start to do is just name it. Think about what does it actually feel in our body? Because I think one of the big things is we actually get scared of feeling things, feeling sad, feeling heartbreak, feeling loss, grief, feeling angry, feeling all these negative feelings, jealousy, um, shame, guilt. Shame's more of a broader thing, but we don't like the uncomfortableness of, that's not even a real word, but we don't like how uncomfortable it feels, these negative feelings. So just sit with it and do mindfulness with it. So where does it actually feel? So if it's fear, it's usually across our chest. If it's like guilt or shame, it's in our cheeks, feel red. If it's anger, it's usually in our head. So just work out like where in your body are you feeling it, and just sit with it, because every feeling does last. And just getting used to sitting there and thinking, actually, it's not that bad, is a way to just start moving through it. Because I think we just put off things. We put off and distract and take drugs, alcohol, gambling, whatever it is, just to push them down. So just get comfortable with feeling. So yeah. Hi, use all. How you doing? Hi to everyone who's watching as well. I'm feeling a little bit unwell. I've been feeling unwell for the last couple of weeks, so I'm just popping on for a little bit to answer any questions. If anyone's got any questions about mental health or addiction, do ask away and I will do my best. Like I say, I'm a therapist, so licensed to answer. Are you from Newcastle? Yeah, I was born in Sheffield and I moved up here when I was quite young, like really young. So yeah, I'm currently living in Durham now though, but I lived right near the centre of Newcastle. What about you? Hi Dave. Yeah, absolutely, ask a question. If people want to ask questions, it's a little bit easier as well because it saves us having to think while I'm so drained. But yeah, just ask away. Oh, am I single? I thought you were going to ask something about addiction and mental health. No, I'm not single. Ask us a question to do with something that I can actually answer. I'm from Ireland. My sister's from Ipswich. It's a nice. Whereabouts in Ireland are you from? I've been to Cook, I want to say, visiting family. I think it's called Cook. I don't know. Could be just naming a tiny little place in Ireland though, that, or not even naming it right at all. So, okay, apart from being single, any other questions, guys? I'm trying to think of as well something just to natter on about while people ask us something, if at all. Wexford from where the ferries go. I really don't know Ireland at all. I just know it was absolutely lush and I loved it when I went. But like I say, I've only been to one place. Yeah. So one of the reasons why I'm talking about dealing with your feeling is I kept struggling with addiction recovery and I couldn't sustain it. And the reason why I actually fell into addiction, like deep addiction with ketamine, was because I was unearthing loads of traumas and I didn't really know what to do with them. And it felt much easier just to get absolutely off my face than actually face what was going on. And I started to learn the process of actually dealing with hurt and pain isn't as bad as you think. And I started going on this healing journey, which is not for the light-hearted. It's especially hard when you're having realizations about yourself and things that maybe aren't that great. So it's like putting yourself under a microscope and not enjoying what you're seeing. And I had to go through this process of doing that. And I just remember it being so overwhelming. But actually, the more I started doing this and the more I started just sitting with what was going on and exploring it, the more I realized actually this isn't that painful. And the more I got comfortable with these negative feelings, the more I was able to make changes and sit with them. So I was able to deal with the fact that, okay, I've got shame from my addiction. So I was able to just sit with that shame and then alchemize it. I was able to say, okay, there's people in my life which aren't really aligned with us. And because I'd got comfortable with feelings, it wasn't hard anymore to walk away from them situations. Don't get us wrong, it was sad and there was pain involved in it. But the more I just got comfortable with thinking, this is just a feeling, it's nothing more. And realistically, it's not going to last that long. It might come up multiple times a day. I might have to keep revisiting that feeling, but it has an end point, and that end point isn't as long as what I thought it would be. And I just started getting uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. And the brilliant thing with that is once you start to deal with feelings and you start to be able to say, okay, this isn't great, but I'm going to sit with it, you start to get comfortable with fear. So I get embarrassed, I get anxious, I get scared of doing things, but I'm able to just witness it and do it anyways. And it didn't just help us in my recovery, but it started helping us putting myself out there in the world and doing things that before dealing with feeling I never would have had the confidence to do. So yeah, it can be helpful. I'll see what people are saying in the comments though. Hi XX Abby. I'll just call you Abby. You saw that stuff is bad for your body. I took it for a while and never got addicted to it. Yeah, it was screwing up my bladder. It was really bad actually, and the ket cramps were horrendous. As somebody who's been through pregnancy and had to go through childbirth, the ket cramps I was experiencing were worse than contractions, which by the way are really effing painful. So they were like much worse than that, and I was still just sniffing ket whilst going through that, knowing fine well it was causing us that level of pain. Scott, smart lady, well done, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. I think that's not your real face. It is. It is. Look, I've got spots and stuff, just an average, normal human face. I don't even like putting filters on and stuff. I feel like I'd rather just be authentic. Look, you can see I've got wrinkles and stuff and owning them. I just think I'd just rather be myself. But I don't know if that's a compliment. I'll take it. Dave, ever since losing my mum. Oh, wait, I feel like I've missed what you said at the beginning. Oh, I've missed some comments, sorry. I scare from watches. What do you mean, watches? I love the accent, seriously, thank you. Right, I don't know what, Dave, what you're talking about ever since losing your mum, that should say. I don't know what you said. Why can't I don't know where the comment is, what you should say. Can you let us know what you should say? But I'm so sorry to hear that you lost your mum. That must be awful. awful to go through. I can't even imagine. Can you do black magic? I mean, probably not my forte. Hottie, thank you, oh, I thought I said Georgia. Okay. I used to put... I'm not even reading that out. Go, gaga. I got addicted to bath salts for many years. Well, I mean, do you mean just having a bath? There is some weird addictions out there, so that's why I'm kind of skeptically asking. You look kind, I'll say rosary for your soul. What's rosary for your soul mean? I'll definitely take the kind comment though. Yeah. Head shop sniff. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know if you're just having me life, but I prefer if you didn't. Because the problem is I'm autistic, so like I just don't even get this stuff. So like if people are like trying to, if people are just trying to have me life, I'm like, oh, they're being serious or not? Because often I think people are joking when they're not, or I'll just completely miss a joke. So yeah. Oh, it's like meth. See, I thought you were taking the mic, and unless you are just still taking the mic. But to be honest with you, I'm on my period and I'm ill, so I can't be bothered with mic taking tonight. Oh, for God's sake, what are you doing on here? Please don't. Oh, you need to go. You've made us feel really embarrassed now. Right, basically, I've not felt like working since losing my mum, but how do I get back on track with work and stuff? Yeah, I think grief and loss is I'm feeling like because someone I know is on here and I don't like that. I'm laughing at this. Right, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not like being weird when you're talking about something serious and I get on track. So grief and loss is like a really difficult thing to kind of give specific advice on because it's so different for everybody. So I did like a 6-week course on it actually, and I think part of it is we feel like we've got to get over it because society doesn't give us very long to grieve. People often are really lush and considerate in the beginning, but then all of a sudden you're just expected to just get over it. People don't, it's almost like they give you grace for a little bit of time, and I think that's really difficult because we internalize that thinking we need to get back to work, and that's not necessarily true. It's about giving yourself patience and knowing that everybody's journey is different. But in terms of if you're wanting to get back on work and you're wanting to grieve it, what I can do, Dave, is because I say it's like very personal and it's quite hard for us to sit here and give you some advice through a screen when it's not a two-way conversation. But if you want, just comment on any of my social media, on any of my content, and I can arrange a one-to-one call with you if that would be helpful, or a Zoom meeting, and just like as a one-off, and we'll try and work out something that's right for you. There's something for grief which can be really helpful, but it's not for everyone. But we can do this with not just when we've lost someone, but if we've got a difficult relationship with somebody and there's things left unsaid, and it's called the empty chair. And it's this idea of like, imagine, so get a chair in front of you, or you can just imagine the person that you want to speak to is in front of you, and you just sit there and say everything that you would say to them. And then after you've done that, you imagine what they would say back to what you've just said. And you can just have a two-way dialogue with them. And I know it sounds a little bit, I'm trying to think of the right word. It's not the same as actually speaking to someone, but what it can do is help us process the feelings that we're dealing with. Because the thing with grief is we've got all of this feeling just under the surface and there's no way to actually process it. And I think that's what's really important, is processing it. And you can do the empty chair technique, or you can do that in a letter form, write a letter to them. But it's just a really difficult thing. And I think the main thing I would say is just giving yourself grace and patience with yourself. And it's not something that although we're being told we need to get back to life, actually, that's not always the case. And it's doing what you need to do to get through it. Well, no, I will not marry you. Right, I'm not here for marrying people. Can I just say that? Right, hey sis, just tapping in. Oh, nice to see you. I don't know how you say it. A double tap. I've been calling you a do. It's a double tap for God's sake. Right, just tapping in. To be honest, love listening to your accent and talking recovery. Keep it up. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you just popping on as well. It's nice and commenting helps. Do you guys think that the internet cell phone addiction is a thing? Yeah, definitely. I'm actually struggling with that at the moment. I find that when I'm not doing well, I really struggle with doom scrolling, and it actually sends us west as well. Like really sends us west. Like it just impacts me frame of mind, but it's that dopamine buzz that we're getting out of it, and because you're producing so much dopamine when you're doom scrolling, it feels good at the time, but then after you just feel like rubbish because you're just depleting all your dopamine. So it absolutely is a problem if it's a problem for you. Yeah, it is an addiction, and it's the same reward pathways in your brain which are getting lit up as if you were doing gambling or drinking drugs. It's all the same thing. It's just different things have different amounts of dopamine that you produce. So I can't remember all the different things, but you can look it up. But at doom scrolling, you don't produce as much dopamine as if you were going to be smoking or alcohol, but you do it for longer periods of time. You just can sit there for hours. And also, you're feeding yourself with information that might not be helpful to your mental health. You keep seeing her in your dreams, Dave. So there's a lot of different things on dreams from like a counseling perspective. So Freud talks about dreams, and he talks about it's a way of it's symbolizing something, and he talks about it as in there's like specific dreams have specific meanings which is applicable to everyone. But then Gestalt, who actually did the empty chair technique that I just spoke about, he talks about dreams as well, and he says that there's themes in the dreams which are symbolizing different things to you personally. So it might be helpful to journal about it after or process it. You can even talk, there's an app called Earkick, which is an AI therapy app, and you can just literally chat it out, and the person who created it is a psychologist, I think. So it's all grounded in psychology theory, so that might be helpful. But even I watched this documentary about sleep, and it was saying that when we go to sleep, we're processing things which are happening. So if you're looking at it through that lens, it looks like you're trying to process it whilst asleep. So if you use Gestalt's technique of breaking down what the different things in the dream are and what they might symbolize to you, it can maybe help you process that a little bit. And there's actually quite a lot of research out there around getting veterans who struggle with PTSD to do lucid dreaming to help them process grief and loss and trauma. So again, that might be helpful for you. But yeah, Dave, if you'd want to just have a one-to-one, I can see if I can try and support you in a more personalized way for you. Right, and double tap. Def recommend having someone there to help you land that trauma plane. The empty chair is dope. I love taking people through that, but you have to be able to bring in back to here and now after. So double tap, are you a therapist then? Sounds like you are. Yeah, it is something. So I used to do empty chair, especially with grief and loss with clients. But one of the things that I do with any technique that I've done with a client or that I've learned in my years of training is I didn't just want to support people from a textbook. So I've always tried things on myself, and I feel like double tap's got a good point. If it's big trauma, I would absolutely do it with a therapist, but personally I've done it by myself and I found it really helpful, especially with relationships that have been quite a struggle where there hasn't been any closure or I've had to walk away from them. I found it's been really helpful just to do that, to get some closure and process it. And you actually end up bringing up things that you just didn't, you wouldn't think about if you didn't hash it out. And sometimes you're the best, you are your best person to hash things out with. Graham Anderson, hello, nice to see you again. Is there any muckle misers around? What is a muckle miser? Oh my God. Right, Michael, hello. Hello from the Blue Ridge MNTs of North Carolina. How are you? Hello from Newcastle, England. I'm good, thanks. I feel like crap. Like, honestly, I'm really struggling to like just like function, to be honest with you. I'm a Marine veteran. Oh, I used to work with veterans. So yeah, mass respect to you, Michael. Dave, okay, cool, thanks. I do Tai Chi. I did Tai Chi for the first time. Me and my friend were going to, where was it? We were going to Barcelona and we missed the flight, which is the third flight I've missed, by the way, in my life. So it's a regular occurrence. And we had to get a train to Edinburgh and we had quite a lot of time to kill. And there was someone doing Tai Chi in the park. And we just went over and started like speaking to them. I was like, can we join in? This looks really fun. And we did. It was so good. I loved it. But yeah, Tai Chi is meant to be so good for your mental health. But anything where you've got to be mindful, like any mindful practice, something where you've got to be in the present moment is really good. Really, really good for mental health and addiction recovery. And the thing with Tai Chi or any other practice where you use mindfulness is it actually engages like the part of your brain which is responsible for impulse control. So it's really good to strengthen those connections in your brain. Andale, oh, I'm so bad with names. I wish she's just had like something easy. Where am I from? I'm from Newcastle in England. Well, technically Sheffield, but I've lived here for years. A double tap. No, I'm just an addict in recovery. I have a sponsor and sponsor others, but I've been to treatment to try to practice what I learned with others. My sponsor tells me you can't spot self-deception. Yeah, I think that's true. I think though, is it that we can't or is that we don't want to? Because I spot self. I know when I'm deceiving myself now, but this is like, again, I started this off talking about dealing with feeling. I know when if I feel uncomfortable in a situation or I feel triggered, so any situation where we're having an emotional response to, and it's usually in relationships, so with friends or if you're in a romantic relationship, family members, or even if you're watching something online and you feel like uncomfortable in it, that's usually something to explore. And if you really don't want to explore it, that's where you're deceiving yourself. So anything that you think about and you're like, oh, don't want to think about that, or you feel like a bit of guilt, then that's where you're deceiving yourself. And then it's a case of like, am I going to be brave enough? Because it's really hard to sit there and say, oh, actually, I'm being a bit of a dickhead right now. Or, oh, I've just realised that, like, that's a really toxic behaviour I've got. Or that wasn't very cool what I just did. I've just been judgmental or whatever it is. That's so hard to sit there with the shame and the guilt and be like, yeah, okay. And most of the time, and most people just shy away from it. But if you can sit there and actually sit with the uncomfortable feeling of like guilt and shame, and then just explore it, then you're dealing with the deception. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. But yeah, I do agree with that though. There's something called Johari's window, and it's like a therapeutic model, and it talks about there's like 4 parts to it. So there's the things that everybody sees, like we see and our loved ones see. It's like, this is parts of my personality that just is on show. And then you've got parts that only you know about, so it's like something that you don't really share with people. Maybe that's like jealousy and stuff like that, you know, everyone feels it. And then you've got the parts of your personality where other people say it about you, which is what your sponsor's talking about, but you're not able to recognize. And then you've got parts that just are completely hidden in your subconscious, and they may come to light, they may not. Dreams can be a good way to decipher what's going on in your subconscious, though. Is this really about recovery? Well, it's a bit of a just free for all, like just chatting to about mental health and stuff. Because the thing is, addiction's just a symptom. It's just a solution, albeit quite a bad solution, but it's a solution nonetheless to something else going on underneath. So like it is about recovery, because if somebody's struggling with mental health or they're struggling with whatever, that's the thing you've got to deal with. Or if it's dealing with shame or the parts of ourselves that we don't really like that's the stuff you've got to deal with, because that's what the addiction is a solution to. So dealing with the shit that's going on inside is a better solution than the addiction. So try it. try getting uncomfortable. Right. And also love yourself when you're doing that. Don't just be mean to yourself. You have to love yourself alongside that. But give yourself some grace. Right, a double tap. The me in my head is the last person I got high with. One half of my brain sells the shit. I think that's meant to say shit. And the other half buys, yeah. One half sells it, the other half buys the BS. Me, myself, and I are my worst enemies. Absolutely. Have you seen that song by Ren? Anyone? It's called Hi Ren. Like that is literally, I think, in a song and video what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm my own worst enemy. I just I think about things so much, and I just used to cause myself so much rubbish, and I still do cause myself trouble all the time. Like my brain is a nuisance, but I've just learned like, right, I can't really get rid of my thoughts, so I'm just gonna have to get comfortable with my thoughts. So they need to be kind, and if they're a bit outlandish, I need to check myself before I wreck myself, which sometimes I can do. I think this is about something else. I don't know what you think it's about. It's just having chats. If you have a question about addiction, I'll happily answer it. I'm just answering people's questions, to be honest with you. I'm being a bit sassy today, on guys. No, I'm quite unwell though. I've got like a low tolerance. Tyler, you're beautiful and props for changing your life. Thank you. I'll take that. Yeah, it wasn't. I think, do you know what it is? I had I started doing counselling training, like, and I started realize like you have to learn about yourself. So you've got no choice to change your life. When you start realizing stuff about yourself, like you can't really unsee it. So you either got to sit there thinking, well, and now I know I'm being a bit of a dick. So you've got like two choices, like continue doing it consciously, or like you've got to change. So, and it's the same with addiction. You know it's rubbish, so you can either accept your fate, which I did for quite a long time, or you can say, right, I'm going to change. So I'll take the props for changing, but I didn't really have much choice. Right, I don't know how you say now. I'm just going to call you 162. Right, being extremely frozen today, too anxious to get tasks done and make calls I need to make. Sun setting so early, also not helping, but hopefully I'll turn it around. Yeah, do you deal with SAD then? It's 5156. So bad with names. Do you deal with SAD? Because that might be something to look at. And yeah, I deal with that getting frozen. So that's part of like ADHD and autism, is like going into freeze mode when you're burnt out. And I think that's where my doom scrolling comes in. It's really hard though to deal with. The thing is, So when I'm in like freeze mode, I was just saying to someone today that I recognize that I'm like not really doing anything to help myself. I've got to like, I know all the positive things I've got to do, but I'm just not doing them. And like I really do. I've done them a million times and got myself out of this state. So I'm being a little bit hypocritical here, but the reason why I'm mentioning that is it is hard to actually get yourself out of a slump. So first of all, like be kind to yourself, give yourself some grace. Don't start huge. Just think, right, what small little comforts can I bring into my life which is going to be helpful? So I've been watching Friends today, which is only something really little, but I know that makes us feel relaxed and it just helps us like have a little bit of a laugh. Also, I spoke to my friends, so I realise when I'm in freeze mode, I tend to isolate myself from people. I don't really interact with people, which isn't helpful as well. So try and lean into connection. I find that always helps me. But yeah, just try and just do little kind things to myself. I did a 21-day kindness challenge with myself, like a kindness pact. And I just made a pact with myself that anytime I feel rubbish or I'm anxious or in freeze mode, like you were just severe anxiety, I'm just going to do something kind to myself, whether that's saying something nice, whether that's just doing something cute. Like I take myself out of the pictures and stuff like that to have little dates with myself. I find stuff like that helps. Double tap, thank you for your feedback, sis. I'm stirring the pot, making the conversation. I'm absolutely all for that. I don't mind just stirring the pot. Half the time I don't even realise when people are doing it anyways. People grief it, so it just goes over my head. So, or sometimes I recognise it, but then I'm like, am I just thinking that's sarcasm and it's not? I'm not single, no. Thank you for the compliments. Do or die. Yeah, literally, do or die. Or die doing. Right. The honesty helps us more than anything. Trust and believe that. Yeah, 100%. The more I started just being open and honest, I was terrified to tell people about my addiction. I couldn't give two craps now. I really couldn't. And I see some people's faces. There was somebody who lives near us and they were talking about the local addicts and I just went, yeah, I struggled with addiction. Not in a way to shame him, but I just always make a point of saying it. And we ended up just having a really nice conversation and understanding each other. But I think the more times people are just open and honest, it helps other people feel it because it's a taboo subject. But it just helps you. Like it's no good walking around, yeah, just not owning your shit. Like, how are you going to change it? Right, Sean, you need to go away. Right. I'm glad to hear some people share the struggles. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, loads of people come on here and like tell us, like share things. It's nice to be able to do that. Hi from Singapore. Hello from Newcastle. Let's help each other get over it and meet up. I mean, I'm not going to be meeting up with people, but we should help each other get over things, definitely. Right, your breakthrough breaks others free. Absolutely. I think as well, that's the thing. So the people who helped me get through my addiction were the people who had already been through it. I always think just like find someone who's been through what you've been through and ask them or like do what they did. So, and this is one of the things that I kind of always had a feeling that I'm really spiritual, so I always feel like I'm meant to do something big with my life. And I always had this feeling when I was going through a recovery, and it might have just been hope. You know, maybe I don't do something, but it might have just been hope. But it was going through me head like everything happens for a reason. There's going to be a reason this is happening, and I just kept using that as a motivator that I am going to get out of it, especially because I did feel very hopeless at times. Hi, Carl. You just saw my live. Hi, it's a very poor live tonight, to be honest with you. I'm feeling quite unwell. Currently dealing with period cramps whilst chatting and answering questions, but that's what women do, so. Oh, thank you. Very practical advice. Comedy, connection, and kindness challenge might be something to try. Understanding freeze mode better will help me. Yeah, absolutely. So if just to help you understand what freeze mode is, because it does help you if you know what's going on in your body, then the more we understand about ourselves, so like learning for any mental health situation, addiction, recovery, anxiety, the best thing you can do is just learn the hell out of it, because then once you know what's going on, you can work out what to do, which is usually just the opposite. So with anxiety, it's basically your amygdala, which is part of your brain, which it's actually the as we developed as humans, we had what's called the reptilian brain. So as cavemen, we had the reptilian brain, and then there's two other parts of our brain which developed as we evolved. And this is the first part of the brain. It's very instinctual, and it's just meant to protect us. It's meant to keep us safe from predators and perceived threats. And the problem with having this function in our brain is, yes, it's really helpful if, say, for instance, we're crossing a road and a car comes screeching towards you, we can go into this really fast instinctual thing of fight or flight, so we can run away and hopefully get across the road. So it can be helpful in certain situations. Going into fight or flight when we're getting an email from our boss, not that helpful. Actually quite detrimental, because we're not going to fight the boss. Running away is not helpful, and going into freeze mode isn't helpful. There's a couple of others, fawn and etc. So if we understand the purpose of it is to keep us safe, and then we understand the logistics of it, like what's actually going on is to keep us safe, to fight or flight or to freeze, what happens is we just start pumping loads of cortisol, which is a stress hormone around our body, adrenaline, so that we can fight and so we can flight. So that's why you feel tense, because you're getting loads of blood and oxygen to your muscles. You get shallow breaths so that you can run faster. And it's all these different things going on. It's essentially your body's accelerator saying, like, let's go. We're going to either go fight or we're going to run away. And what we know from that is, like, okay, our bodies are just perceiving a threat, and ask yourself, is it an actual threat? Like, is this actually, in the scheme of things, threatening to me? So yeah, we might have, I don't know, maybe we do something embarrassing and it might feel like our world is ending and we're going in a fight or flight or freeze. But realistically, if we zoom out, that one embarrassing moment isn't actually that big of a deal in our life. So just try and get some perspective. And by doing that, you're engaging your prefrontal cortex, which I always say is the rational part of your brain. So you can't be using the emotional part of your brain and the rational part of your brain at the same time. So switch up. And then also, if we recognize that we're in fight or flight, and our bodies, like, our accelerators are starting to go mental, let's hit the brakes and, like I said, do the opposite. So if we've got shallow breath, breathe slow and long. Do you know what I mean? Try and get rid of some of that excess energy, shake it out, relax, because we feel really tense. So yeah, very long-winded answer to that. Let's see what people are saying. English or Scottish? English. Quite close to Scotland though. So I think it ought to, just like, when you start getting, the closer you get to Scotland, the more ropey the accent is, to be fair. So fair play. Just probably sounds a bit weird to you. You're so attractive, thank you. When I fly, no way to understand. Are you talking about when I just go on one? Probably not. I'll take that. Koi Big. Oh, hi, Koi Big. Nice to see you again. Hi there. I don't know if you remember me. I was on the stream. Yeah, I do remember. I was on the stream last week from Newcastle, Scottish family. I thought you were really good, and I've been looking for you for days now, trying to find a live stream. Oh, thank you. So I'm on every oh God, I forgot that. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. By the way, can anybody who's watching, can you give us a subscribe? That would be so helpful. Obviously, if you don't want to, that's fine, but it's free help. But I'm on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. and 9 p.m. at night, GMT time. So yeah, and I haven't missed one yet. Yeah, I haven't missed one yet. So if you come on at any of them times, I'll be here. Right. No English, Scottish. No, are you saying I'm not English? I definitely am. Or are you no English? Or are you just saying me no speaking English? Me no English? Ugh. Right, can we stop with the the sleazy comments, guys? Right. Let's see, I've subscribed. Thank you, Koi Big, I appreciate that. And to anybody else who has. I don't get notifications, so if anybody has, thank you. She's Scottish. She sounds like the Peaky Blinders. They're not even Scottish. The Peaky Blinders are from Birmingham. They're not even Scottish. I think for you, you're just like everyone in the UK sounds the same. Because Geordie, Scottish, and Brummies do not sound the same. I'm just going to put, like, I'll accept the fact that you might have misdiagnosed as a jock, but not as a Brummie. Not accepting that, sorry. My grandma always says sorry. I used to be so bad for saying sorry. Is anyone else like that? Like in my people pleasing days, I used to say, I just used to apologize for being alive. Like someone would walk into me and then I'd say sorry to them. Like, you've just walked into me, but I'm apologizing. Like, what is that about? I'm Australian. I've got family in Australia. They migrated though, so I don't know why I'm even saying that. Like, I'm half, I've got some Australian in my family. To be honest with you, I don't know what's in my bloodline because my dad was adopted and then my nan was adopted. So I don't really know what's going on. A lot of people say I look Russian. Maybe. I don't feel Russian. I don't. I love the accent, thank you. The Scottish / Brummie / Australian / Geordie accent. Some of the people in this live chat are daft thinking a Birmingham accent sounds like a Scottish one. I think though, to be fair, I think probably if you're Southern, everything probably just sounds Northern. If you're from a different country, it probably just sounds weird as fuck. Oh, I keep swearing tonight as well. I'm not behaving. I've not got me little swear filter on. Right, okay. When I come to London, I will visit where? London? Or Newcastle? I hope you don't mean me, personally. Oh, God. Right. Hello from Thailand. Are you in mating season? In mating season? What's that? Like, I don't know what that is. You might have to explain that. Did you go to the raves in the 90s? I'm 36. I was going to school in the 90s. Primary school at that. But I've been to a lot of raves in my time, I will admit to that. I lived in Ibiza. I've done 4 summers in Ibiza. One of them wasn't a full season. We called it a diva season. We just went with loads of money and we're just being a bit mental. But I do love a good rave and I still do go to them every now and again, but it is a treat. I love it. Actually, I went to one not that long ago called Shy Ben's. It was really good. You have a lovely vibe, thank you. Grappling with my substance use this week. Another weekend. If this is my last time, all being there. RH. Yeah, I'm just going to call it RHR. This is my last time, and here we are on Monday. Any tips to shift to winter as it relates to addiction? Yeah. Do you want to join my addiction group if you're still here? Obviously, I'm getting through the comments. I've got it's free of charge, and I've literally got 2 spots left. If you do, just comment on any of my content saying support group. but also I can give you a one-to-one call, because anyone who's in dire straits, who's struggling and just can't get over the finish line, or are struggling to sustain recovery, I'm offering one-to-one support just as a one-off session, and it's free of charge. So yeah, if you want some help with that. But I think this is the last time we've all been there. Like, anybody who's done it, I don't know anyone, I've yet to come across somebody who has said, this is the last time, first time they've ever said it, and then that's been the last time. I don't know anyone who's ever done that. So I think, first of all, it's like recognizing this is a normal part of the process. There's something in addiction called the wheel of change. And the reason why it's a wheel is because we go through different stages, and there's one of them's ambivalent, where you're kind of on the fence. The next one, I think it's actually called change. And there's a few different things. And the reason why it's on a wheel is because it's normal to go through the wheel and back to the beginning, which is denial. So I think part of it is recognizing that, one, this is normal, so not berating yourself, because the worst thing you can do in addiction recovery is put yourself down. Because if you feel rubbish, the first thing you're going to do is go back to the thing that you've just said, that's the last time I'm going to do it. So keep trying to do what you're doing. Get support for it if you feel brave enough. You know, I know that's can feel quite like a scary thought for people. Absolutely utilize the support I've got for free if you want. But in that time, just try and think, okay, what was the trigger? So what was happening? So literally think what was going on that day. If it's something that's reoccurring, so you said weekend, that sounds like the classic, I'm gonna do really well in the week, and I'm not gonna have a drink at the weekend, or I'm not gonna sniff coke at the weekend, or whatever it is that you do. I'm not gonna gamble. And then you get to the weekend and you're doing well, and then all of a sudden you're doing the thing. So that's normally association. We associate the weekend with doing that, and we associate certain people with the addiction and certain activities. So it's important to try and have different things planned for the weekend with people that you don't normally associate. And that might look like just removing yourself from people for a bit, and maybe doing something different, just putting yourself out there, going, I don't know, there's lots of different things you can do. You can even just go on AA groups and stuff like that. But the main thing I say is learn to love yourself. And the more you love yourself and you love your life, so like actively doing things in your life that bring you joy, the less you'll want to do that, because you'll start to think, actually, this life I'm cultivating is much better than doing this thing, feeling like crap, going in the shame cycle, spending all my money on that, looking and feeling rubbish. And you'll start to think this seems like a better option. But yeah, I hope that was helpful. How's your son doing? He's doing really well. He's no bother. I've been so unwell today, and I've been quite poor parenting, to be honest with you, just like skating by. He's been lush though. He's a funny little thing. He's been asking, this was a while back, but I was just thinking, because he's funny, like, he's so cute, but I think it was about a month ago now, but he was telling us all the time that he wanted to marry us when he grows up. It was so cute. I was like, I don't think I can marry him, but that is adorable. No, Newcastle. Yeah, you should go to Newcastle. It's fun. It's a fun night out. Unless you're a recovering alcoholic, then don't go for the night out. But it's like, it's got loads of lush buildings, loads of nice things to do. It's really nice in Christmas as well. Love going to the Christmas markets. 36, yeah, I'm 36. You're a child. Yeah, I feel like a child. I act like a child on the regular. Warrior. What accent is this? We've been here. It's a Newcastle accent. Apparently people, well, do you know what it is? I realise I get my mum voice on when I'm doing this, but it's because I recognise that if I was going to speak the way I normally speak, you just really wouldn't understand us what I'm saying. So I do speak a little bit more pronounced on the lives. So it might be why people are not sure what my accent is. hello from this Italian living in Kansas. That's something I never saw coming. Kansas, is Kansas? I was just going to say that, is that not a made up thing, but I don't feel like it is. I'm just thinking of The Wizard of Oz, but my brain just is working today, guys. But yeah, I've been to Italy. I went to Rome. It was really nice. Lots of homelessness, so where I was staying, and it was right outside the centre. It was really sad. You don't look your age, you look about 30. I will take that. Definitely will take that. I think good lighting's helping though, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie. The freckles are cute. Thank you. Do you know, I got the mick taken out of us when I was younger because somebody asked us what my favourite thing about myself is, and I said me freckles, and the griefed us really bad. And it wasn't a foot. I love it when me and my friends all grief each other, but you know when someone's doing it and they're just being a dick, that was what was happening. But yeah, I do like my freckles. Thank you. It's part of the ginger look. You are 100% a Karen. I'm not a Karen. I would take, do you know what it is? I'm the type of person who would take it on the chin if I was a Karen, but I'm not a Karen. I'm the person who drives Karens wild. Like, I'm such a nightmare. Hey, that's funny though. Right. Let's see what people are saying. I'm starting to get tired. I've only been on 51 minutes. There's quite loads of people on as well. If anyone's got any questions about addiction and mental health, though, do ask. I'm sorry, because there's so many comments, I'm just going to be skirting through and just answering the addiction and mental health ones, but just thanks for everybody who's commenting, and hi. Talk amongst yourselves, though. How did I overcome my addiction? I started to love myself massively beforehand. So that was the main thing. Because I tried to overcome my addiction so many times, it just wasn't happening. I like to put in perspective the amount of times I've tipped my ketamine down the toilet and then been like, oh my God, like I'm gonna have to ring the dealer and find the money to. I don't know even how I afforded my addiction, to be honest with you, by the way, as well. Like I don't know how that happened. Like, have you seen that meme about don't get out hustled by a cokehead, like a crackhead? Like, I don't know how it happens. If there's a will, there's a way. But I think the universe was just footing the bill somehow because I was just in a massive K-hole and I don't know. But anyways, I'm getting off track. So I used to like write notes to myself saying, don't do this tomorrow, you hate it. I used to like chuck my cat away and I just couldn't stop. And it was just, the problem for me was my whole life was rubbish. Like there was so much rubbish things in my life, like people, situations. I was horrible to myself. Used to put so much expectation on myself. I used to put so much pressure on myself. It was just awful. It was horrible to be inside my head, and it was horrible to be like everything else going on outside of it. There was good stuff as well, but the bad stuff was just too bad. So I had to start loving myself enough to start getting rid of the shit in my life, the people, the situations, the stuff that wasn't serving us. And then I also had to love myself enough to have some hard truths with myself. Like the behaviours I was doing wasn't helpful, and there were the behaviours of somebody who doesn't love themselves. I was overgiving. I was such a bad people pleaser. I had to stop being a people pleaser. And that was quite hard because I had this belief that if I don't overexert myself and do everything for everybody else, then people aren't going to love us. And I didn't realise I had that belief. It was one I'd created at the dawn of Ashley when I became a people pleaser. I didn't even realise I was a people pleaser until I realised it. So then I had to learn how to interact with people in a way which wasn't burning myself out and which was give and take. So yeah, lots of stuff. I had to get support. I had to tell people I had an issue. That was a big factor. So there was so many different things, but at the heart of it, it was learning to love myself, because the more you love yourself, the more you're able to tackle all the other things. And I had to deal with my trauma. Right, oh, there's so many comments. I'm so tired, guys, so I'm really unwell. So I'm going to go through and pick 2 more comments. I'm so sorry that I haven't got through these though. I'll get back to you, need some assistance, but not today. Yeah, just whenever the time is right for you. That's the other thing, somebody who said that they're struggling with the time. You'll know the time when it's time to go and it's time to stop, you'll know. Like, don't, if it doesn't feel right now, that's because there's some kind of thing keeping you stuck. What I would say is if it doesn't feel right, explore why it doesn't feel right, why you're clinging on to it. You might find some answers. I'm the king of berating myself, all good advice. Yeah, I used to be horrendous for it. Like, when I reached out to people and told them that I had an addiction, the thing that stopped us from telling the people, like my nearest and dearest, was I was so scared that they were going to be horrible to us and they were going to shame us. And some of the people who I told didn't know how to deal with the situation and I think opted for a tough love. But the problem is, like, I really just felt like saying to them, like, anything you've got to say about me, I'm already saying it to myself times 100. Like, all you're doing is just kicking us when I'm down, and I've already kicked myself down. So, yeah, I really relate to that. But just because that's something you've always done doesn't mean you can't do differently. And it's just about, practice really does make perfect. Creating new neuroplasticity in your brain is the way forward. And it's just day in, day out healing. Like, every single day I check myself before I wreck myself and I just face head on whatever emotions I'm feeling or whatever like nasty thing I'm saying to myself or toxic behaviour or whatever it is. I just face it head on and I just try and do better the next time. And I do that all the time. And you start, like, over the years, you start to really see yourself transforming. Like, every year I'm a total different person than the last person, and I'm a person that I'm more proud of. Right. Ashley, come on. Come on, what? Right. I'm going to answer one more question. I'm so sorry that I've not got through them all because there's, oh my God, so many. I'm going to go near the bottom. Right. I'm still trying to figure out what's happening. I don't even know myself. I'm trying to answer people's questions. The problem is I've had, like, at every point of this live, I've had like over like about 100 people. So I don't really know what's going on myself, but yeah. Whatever's going on, it's going on. You tell me. Oh God. Right, last question. So yeah, codependency, people pleasing is underrated as a mental health roadblock. Absolutely. I think the way I see all of it is if you want to know what's going on in your life, childhood, I would say 98% of clients which come through my door, whether that's for mental health or for addiction, childhood. 100%, like I would say about 98%. The other 2% are the people who haven't figured out that it's something minor in their childhood. There might be, no, I'll leave that 2% for people who've gone through grief and loss or something. But go to your childhood. So you have your childhood and whatever has went on in there, then creates beliefs that we have about ourselves. My belief around people pleasing was that people won't love us unless I'm doing things. So I noticed my son doing this and it scares the life out of us because I'm like, oh, I hope I'm not traumatizing him. But he'll start doing little performances for us to get my attention because I'm busy, and he'll start just doing it, coming over and giving us a kiss because I'm doing the washing up and he wants us to be paying attention to him. So he's doing things to feel loved and appreciated. So we then start to create these beliefs that then create behaviours. And this is like CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy. So childhood creates beliefs that then creates behaviour, which then creates thoughts and then creates behaviours. So what we need to do is we need to change the belief. If we change the belief, then we can change the thoughts, which means we then change the behaviours. So codependent, we've got the childhood, then we've got the beliefs which create things like anxiety, depression, codependency, so many different things. Like all of these different things stem from childhood. And like it might be even disorders, a lot of them are epigenetic. So it's like we've got a genetic predisposition and then something happens in childhood that then activates those genes. So like ADHD, bipolar, all of these things, they're all from childhood. And unfortunately, the problem is, as the majority of people have had screwed up childhoods, because as entire generations have been getting it wrong. Like leaving babies to cry it out was the norm. And actually, all of the research says that that is detrimental to children's development. We're not wired up like that. And it's causing a whole host of problems. So that's just as simple as sleeping by yourself crying. And the whole of society in the West has done that for generations. And there's so many different things. Like the people who were raising us, like I'm a millennial, so the boomers, they had corporal punishment in school. So it was normal for them to get a beating at home and at school. And then they're parenting us. So, we're all screwed up. So stop the childhood. Yeah, and it definitely is underrated. But I'm so tired and I'm going to let you go. Oh, it's nice speaking to you all. And I'll be back on Wednesday. Also, if anyone hasn't given us a subscribe, that would be so helpful if you don't mind doing that. And I'll be back on Wednesday and Friday at 10 a.m. and 9 p.m. GMT time. But thanks for the likes, guys. Appreciate that. And for the comments, and I'm so sorry to the people that I didn't get through your comments because there's been loads I haven't answered. But yeah, hopefully come back and I'll see if I can answer them on Wednesday. Bye.